If you have scrolled through even a few minutes of ARMY content this week, you already know London has turned purple. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium just hosted 2 nights of the Arirang World Tour. The London Eye lit up red, a floating installation cruise down the Thames, and an entire citywide takeover called BTS. The city has fans running from one pop-up to another across the capital. But in the middle of all that noise, there's one detail from the Nike X BTS collaboration that keeps pulling fans back to the same name over and over again. And no, it is not because of an official statement. It is not because Nike put his face on a poster. It is something quieter than that. Something built into the way this entire collection was designed. And once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it either. So stay with me, because by the end of this video you will understand exactly why so many ARMY comment sections under Nike X BTS London posts keep circling back to Jimin. Before we get into that one detail, let's set the scene, because context is everything here. If you are new to this channel, welcome! And if you already know the drill, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a BTS story again. Now back to London. The Nike X BTS partnership was first announced back in May, built around 2 pillars. The first is Nike by You, a customization platform where fans can personalize apparel and tote bags using 10 exclusive graphics created specifically for this collaboration. The second is the tour merchandise line itself, limited edition t-shirts, a hoodie, and a career-exclusive cap, all designed with a visual identity built around bold typography, references to the number 7 for the 7 members, and design elements that nod to musical structure, things like bars and measures. On paper, this is a group collaboration. Every member is represented. Every member matters equally in the branding. That is the official story, and it is true. But here is where things get interesting, because official branding and fan perception do not always move at the same speed. And in London specifically, the rollout gave fans a front-row seat to watch this play out in real time. The city's activation started before the concerts even happened. On Saturday the 4th of July, Nike by You opened at the Future store inside Westfield, London, letting fans walk in and build their own custom pieces. The very next day, Sunday the 5th, the ready-made Nike X BTS collection went on sale at the same location. Then came the 2 nights everyone had been waiting for, BTS taking the stage at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the 6th and 7th of July, the only UK dates on this entire world tour. And once the music stopped and the stadium emptied out, the story did not end. From the 8th through the 10th of July, a Nike X BTS pop-up became part of ARMY Madong at Outernet, giving fans one more chance to shop the collection as the citywide celebration wound down. So you have this full arc, self-expression and customization before the show, the raw emotional high of the concerts themselves, and then a retail experience afterward that let fans carry a piece of the whole experience home with them. And it is in that gap between the concert and the pop-up that something interesting started happening online. Because when ARMY talk about self-expression, when they talk about individuality, when they talk about a member whose entire artistic identity is built around movement, personal style, and turning fashion into a form of storytelling, one name comes up again and again before anyone else. And that name is Jimin. Here is the thing you need to understand about why this connection feels so natural to fans, and it has nothing to do with speculation or wishful thinking. It has everything to do with timing and pattern recognition. Just 2 weeks before the London shows, Jimin was in Paris as Dior's global ambassador, walking the brand's men's Spring-Summer 2027 show, a role he has held since 2023. That appearance dominated fashion headlines and fan edits for days. A few weeks before that, Rolling Stone's May issue had already put a spotlight on him, recognizing him as the group's standout dancer and featuring a custom leather look created by designer Kim. So by the time Nike's design language started talking about self-expression, personalization, and movement-inspired graphics, ARMY already had a very specific face in mind for what those words meant. It was not because Nike said so. It was because Jimin had spent the entire year proving it through his own work. Think about how the Nike by You designs are described. Bold, expressive shapes, fluid movement, typography that evolves and bends. If you have followed Jimin's career even casually, those words probably sound familiar because they are the exact words fans and critics alike have used to describe his stage presence and his dance style for years. So when a customization platform built around movement and self-expression rolls out in the same city, in the same month, right after Jimin's Dior appearance, and right in the middle of a tour where his dancing has been one of the most talked about elements of every single show, ARMY are not making things up when they connect the dots. They're simply noticing a pattern that is genuinely there. Now let's talk about what actually happened when the pop-up opened at Outernet after the concerts wrapped. If you have watched any fanshot footage from Nike pop-ups across this tour, whether that was Seoul, Tokyo, or now London, you will notice something consistent. Fans do not just walk in and buy the nearest t-shirt. They stand in front of the 10 Nike by You graphics and debate, sometimes for several minutes, which design feels closest to their bias member. And across city after city, a noticeable chunk of that conversation keeps landing on the graphics with the most fluid, expressive line work, the ones that feel less rigid and more like a snapshot of motion. Fans keep saying those particular options feel like Jimin. Not because a name tag says so, but because the visual language matches the identity he has built over years of performance. If you are watching this and thinking, okay, but is this actually confirmed by Nike? The honest answer is no, and that honesty matters. Nike has not released a statement saying any specific design was made with one member in mind. This is not a marketing claim, it is a fan observation, and it is worth being upfront about that distinction. What we can say with certainty is this: the timing of Jimin's fashion moments this year, his established reputation inside BTS as the group's most dance-forward performer, and the specific design vocabulary Nike chose for this collaboration have combined to create a very natural association in the minds of fans. That is not manufactured hype. That is simply how branding and fandom intersect when a collaboration leans this heavily on movement and personal identity as its creative foundation. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about why this matters beyond just merchandise. BTS, as a group, have spent this entire era leaning into the idea of legacy and individuality existing side by side. The album itself explores where each member has been and where they are headed, both together and apart. Nike's design brief mirrors that exact theme, blending unity, represented by the number 7, with individuality, represented by each fan's ability to pick their own graphic and make it personal. So in a strange way, the entire concept of Nike by You becomes a mirror for how ARMY already engages with this group. Everyone loves BTS as a whole, but everyone also has their own lens they see the group through, and for a huge portion of the fandom, that lens has Jimin's dancing and his fashion instincts sitting right at the center. And London gave us a very visible example of this dynamic in action. Think about the sequence of events again. Saturday, customization opens at Westfield. Sunday, the finished collection goes on sale. Monday and Tuesday, 2 nights of BTS performing live, with Jimin's stage presence once again pulling major attention, especially given how much his dancing has become one of the signature talking points of this entire world tour. Then, after the emotional high of the concert settles, the pop-up at Outernet opens for 3 more days, giving fans a chance to process everything they just experienced and turn it into something they can wear. It is almost like the merchandise becomes a physical souvenir of a feeling, and for a lot of fans, that feeling is inseparable from the image of Jimin moving across that Tottenham Hotspur stage. Now, if you are a Jimin stan specifically, I know exactly what you are thinking right now, and yes, we are going to talk about it. Beyond the design language itself, there is a broader pattern this year of fashion houses and now sportswear brands leaning into Jimin's specific brand of expressive movement and personal style whenever they build campaigns tied to self-expression. Dior tapped him as their ambassador specifically because his presence in fashion spaces blends performance energy with a refined, elegant edge, something that is genuinely rare to pull off. Rolling Stone highlighted him specifically for redefining what a K-pop performer's physicality can communicate on a global stage. So when Nike, a brand whose entire identity is built around movement and self-expression, launches a campaign built on those same values, it makes complete sense that fans would instinctively think of the one member whose entire public image over the past year has been defined by exactly those qualities. But let's be fair to the rest of the members too, because this is still very much a group collaboration, and every single member of BTS brings something different to how fans interpret this collection. Some fans have pointed to the sharper, more architectural graphics and associated them with RM's more intellectual and design-conscious aesthetic. Others have connected certain bold, high-contrast pieces to Suga's understated but confident sense of style. J-Hope's association with hip-hop and street culture makes some of the more energetic graphic placements feel connected to him. Jin's easygoing, classic sensibility gets tied to some of the cleaner, minimalist pieces. These high-fashion instincts, especially given his own ambassadorship with a major French fashion house, make some fans read the more avant-garde choices as distinctly his. And Jungkook's more casual, effortlessly cool image often gets linked to the simpler, everyday wearable pieces in the lineup. This is part of what makes Nike by You so clever as a concept. It gives every single fan, regardless of their bias, a way to see their favorite member reflected somewhere in the collection. Still, if you spend time actually reading comment sections under London pop-up videos, under Westfield store footage, under clips from Outernet, the frequency with which Jimin's name comes up in relation to the more fluid, movement-based graphics is genuinely hard to ignore. It is not that other members are absent from the conversation. It is that the specific creative language Nike chose, expressive, in motion, personal, keeps triggering the same mental shortcut for a huge number of fans, and that shortcut leads straight to him. So what is the actual takeaway here? It is not that Nike secretly built this campaign around one member. It is that great creative direction, whether intentional or not, ends up resonating with the parts of a fandom that are already primed to see it that way. Jimin spent this entire year building a public narrative around movement, elegance, and self-expression, through Dior, through Rolling Stone, through his own dance covers and viral moments on this very tour. When Nike built a campaign around those exact same values and launched it in the same city where BTS had just performed 2 emotionally massive shows, it created the perfect conditions for fans to draw a very natural, very understandable connection. That is the one thing about Nike x BTS London that keeps bringing fans back to his name. And honestly, once you notice it, it is hard to stop seeing it everywhere in this rollout. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you, because this is exactly the kind of debate that makes the comments section under this video so much fun. When you look at the 10 Nike by You designs, which one do you think feels the most like Jimin? And be honest, did you already have an answer before I even asked the question? Drop your pick below. And if you disagree with the general fan consensus, I genuinely want to know why, because these conversations are always more interesting when there is some healthy disagreement in the mix. And if you have not grabbed anything from this collection yet, whether you are hoping to visit a pop-up in person or you are hunting for pieces online, let me know in the comments which cities rollout you are most excited about, because we still have Paris, Toronto, and several more stops ahead on this collaborations calendar. If this video helped you make sense of everything happening with Nike x BTS in London, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more ARMY who are trying to keep up with everything happening on this tour. And if you have not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time, because between the Arirang World Tour, the ongoing brand collaborations, and everything else happening around BTS this year, there is no shortage of stories to cover, and I do not want you missing a single one. Turn on that notification bell too, because the next stop on this tour is coming up fast, and you know these Nike pop-ups always bring something worth talking about. One more thing before you go. If you are new here, and you are wondering why an entire video can be built around one design detail in a sneaker brand collaboration, that is honestly the beauty of following this fandom. Every choice, every graphic, every rollout schedule becomes a puzzle piece that fans love putting together, and sometimes the smallest details end up telling the biggest stories about who these artists are and how deeply their individual identities resonate with the people who watch them. Jimin's connection to this Nike collection might not be officially confirmed, but the pattern behind it is real, it is consistent, and it says a lot about how far his artistic identity has traveled this year, from a Dior runway in Paris to a Nike pop-up in London. So that is the story behind the one detail in Nike x BTS London that has ARMY thinking about Jimin more than anyone else. Let me know down in the comments if you picked up on this before watching this video, or if this is the first time you are putting all these pieces together. Either way, I will see you in the next video, where we are going to break down even more of what is happening across BTS, the city London, before this tour moves on to its next stop. Until then, take care, stay hydrated, and I will catch you soon.